What is going on, everyone? It's AP over here at Rumpier Sports. I'm with my two main guys. We got Uncle T, we got Rubio Dimes. Let's start. We got to start with Uncle T. Uncle T, what's going on, man? How was your weekend? Give me like a 1-minute breakdown of how the Masters went for you.
Yeah, first off, missed you guys last week. I appreciate Mangone filling in for me last Tuesday. Missed you guys. It's good to be back on the show for Tuesday. But hey, it was a real good week for Uncle T. I had a lot of Dustin Johnson and Cam Smith. So clearly, as you guys know, they finished up 1-2 there. So I did well there, and as well had a lot of our guy Sebastian Munoz and your boy AP Corey Connor. So it was a really good week for me, and actually a good week on DraftKings, and even better week on FanDuel. I don't play as much on FanDuel as you guys know. I do play on FanDuel, but I'm primarily DraftKings. I actually did really well on FanDuel this week as well. So overall, it was a real good week for me, and looking forward to getting into the RSM Classic this week. I fully intended to open up things yesterday to look at this week's tournament, and I thought it would be a skeleton, kind of a field, and we've got a lot more of the top tier players playing than I thought they would, I should say, a week after the major. So looking forward to getting into it and breaking it down with you guys.
Yeah, I agree. It was a fun week. The Masters, I mean, we had so many sports going on at the same time. It was crazy. NFL, college football, NFL. I got the Masters website and the app going, watching all the guys play. I mean, it was just phenomenal. I'm going to be depressed this week without it. Rubio, how was your week, man?
Bryson DeChambeau didn't do too well. That's one of the main things, though. It really summed up my weekend. Was on Friday, I sold Uncle T. We missed him on the show. So sold Uncle T a new iPhone Pro Max. I also sold Big T a new iPhone Pro Max. I let Big T watch the Masters while I was doing his phone sale, right? I had notifications on for the Masters app. And needless to say, while he's watching, Bryson DeChambeau's triple bogey rolls in. Then a Jason Day double bogey. And it was just an awful mess while I'm just setting up Big T with this great phone. And just seeing my lineups and my cash just dwindle down to a nice goose egg, in the middle of a Friday afternoon during the Masters. But made some back with the DJ win, a little bit of Cam Smith. Definitely Mangone and AP were both on top of that. And I'm pretty sure our Tuesday lineup beat the Wednesday lineup. So
it was not close.
Yeah, it was not even close. So,
yeah,
it's easy to just, kind of walk with the strut that we were better than the Wednesday crew. So I'm going to take that.
They went all in on the Bryson route, and we went a different route. We locked in DJ, and we locked in other guy. We locked in I think Brooks. Brooks did fine. JT did good. Our boy Cam did really good. Corey Connors came out. For me, it was a good week too, guys. So it was, I think 3 to 4x. Anytime you're making that kind of money, it's a good week. I was close to some takedowns, but fell short of members. Actually, Wog Show, MMN Cards. He took down the $100 single entry. I think I finished like 9th, and so I was literally looking up. In all my contests, I'm looking up at this guy almost every single week. I know he's going to watch this. You're not going to beat me this week, man. I'm coming for you. But no, the Masters was, it was a ton of fun. And we get the RSM, which, as Uncle T said, the field it's not bad. Like I actually feel really good about this week. I feel very solid and good about some of the picks I'm on. My guy right here, Mr. Rosie. We'll talk. We'll save that. We'll talk about him a little later. But first off, tonight we got a free show, so please like and subscribe. Helps us out a ton. It allows us to keep some more content free. Again, if you haven't checked us out, you can come and check us out. Try us out for a week. $20. That's it. Go to the website, rumpiersports.com, do the weekly package, come check us out. You'll get all of our content. You'll get our core plays, everything, just for $20. And we'll make you money this week. I feel very confident about that. We're at the RSM Classic. It's not too far away from where we were at. Now, I do want to hit on a few things before we dive into the event. It's a little bit different. We have two courses, one course. So we got the Sea Island Seaside course. We got the Plantation course. The Sea Island Seaside is going to be the host course. It's a par 70, 7,000 yards. The Plantation course is par 72, and it's actually just a little over 7,000 yards. So here's what's important this week, guys. If you take anything away, it's if you're playing showdown contests, you need to understand which golfers are playing which course on the first 2 days. There's a massive advantage to playing the Plantation course, which has four par fives, versus, the guys that are playing the other course with just two par fives. So I do want to make that note. If you just stack that up, I think you're going to be sitting better than anyone else. I think a lot of people are going to do that, but you're still going to have 30, maybe 40% of the field that isn't aware of that or just forgets about it. So that's going to give you a slight advantage this week. Honestly, when I look at this course, now there's a few things. When I did my first review of the course and past winners and everything, this is traditionally a very weak field. We don't usually see a field like we see this week. So when you look at the winners and you see some really random people out there, you have to understand they were playing against a very weak field. So some of my early thoughts that I had with this event, I've kind of thrown them out the window, where I was originally only targeting guys that were very good iron players, where distance didn't matter, et cetera, because that's traditionally what we've seen. I threw that out the window because I wasn't taking into account how weak the field was. I think the field this week is pretty strong. So let's dive into that now. Uncle T, let's start with you. We're not going to talk just the 11K and up because we only got, two guys there. So let's go 10K and up. Talk to me about this range, man.
Yeah. Before I get into that, do you guys know, will we have shot tracker on both courses or just the Plantation course? Do you guys know?
I believe just the seaside course. Okay. I don't think the Plantation course has shot tracker. Okay, and I believe they're only playing that once. And then it's on Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be all seaside.
Seaside on the weekend, right? And I think the Plantation is going to play a little easier, right, with the 4 par 5. So, So for me, again, when we dig into this stuff, and I like to look at course history, and I like to look at recent form probably more than most. And the guy at the top, even though he's 11-2, Webb Simpson, he's going to probably be the highest owned player on the slate. I'm going to have a hard time fading him. I may just go ahead and go all in and try to get different in other areas. He's probably going to be at least, I'm seeing, around 30%. So I really like Webb Simpson. Lost in a playoff here last year to Tyler Duncan, third place finish the year before. So clearly he loves the course, been playing good. He's got 4 straight top 20 finishes on the regular tour, finished T10 last week, and actually backdoored with a nice Sunday effort, the T10. So really like Webb Simpson, even though he's the highest paid guy, I'm going to have a hard time getting away from him. The next couple guys, Sungjae M, don't know what to do with Sungjae. He'd been playing really rough up until last week, and wow, I think he shocked a lot of people by how well he played in his first time at Augusta. So not sure what I'm going to do with Sungjae yet. The next two guys are fades for me. Tommy Fleetwood, if you guys have listened to the show with us guys the last few weeks, I don't like Fleetwood's he hasn't been playing well. He did finish 19th last week, but I'm out on Fleetwood. The 10-7 price, just too much for me on DK. I'm going to fade Hatton too, probably. The next guy I'm going to go to is Russell Henley. I'm hoping to, by the couple miscuts, the last 2 editions of this tournament, it scares people away. He's got a 10th and a 6th place finish back a couple years back. So for me in this top range, I'm going to probably go as close to all in, or at least for sure over the field, I should say, on Webb Simpson. And then I'll go down to Russell Henley as my next guy.
Yeah, well done. When I take my turn, it's going to sound a lot like where you're at, Uncle T. So, and what's crazy, man, is I always whether it's football or golf. I mean, we're typically on a lot of the same plays, man. And that's, man, when my plays match up with Uncle T's, I always feel good about where I'm at. Rubio, 10K and up. I mean, where are you at? Are you like last week? We both took big stands. Bryson, DJ. I mean, talk to me about this range. Is there a big stand you're taking this week?
I like what he says about Webb Simpson. I think it is very hard to fade the best golfer in the field. Simpson has done it here on this course, like he said, with 2 top 3 finishes in a row, and probably could have won the last event here in 2019 or 2020 or 2019 they were played here. But last time this event was played at this course. I've always been a big fan of Webb Simpson, even liked him a lot last week. And so seeing him at the top price and, gets a top 10, rolling in with good form, I think that's a very good play. I'm actually going to go against the grain on Tyrrell Hatton here. I'm actually a huge Tyrrell Hatton fan. I know the Bermuda grass might be a little bit of an issue, but I think he ticks every box I'm looking at, especially him being, I know the Bermuda grass might change some things, but he's always been a great putter. He's been very good with his irons, and he's a really good player overall. And I'm not going to let one miscut at the Masters really throw off the scent. And I think this is a course that fits him better than most. And I'll gladly take him at 10-4 as well. So I have really high hope for the Englishman there. I'm not really on the Fleetwood. I think Sung Jae Im last week, it was great to see him, get all the way up to second. He putted very well, but the form before that wasn't amazing. I'd rather just, go Hatton or Simpson, something like that. Henley did have 3 straight top 10s here at this course at one point, but I think I'm really just set on Hatton and Simpson.
Yeah, I like that. For me, like Hatton, I mean, if you look at this course and, he's not the longest driver off the tee, but every other part of his game is really good. And so that was a difficult decision that I had when I was going through my original process and looking at and breaking down all these golfers. Here's the thing, guys. I think this is a week where I'm just locking in. I don't care what his ownership is. I'm locking him into every single build. I think he's kind of in a tier of his own. Like, look, Sung Jae, our guy, I mean, he looked good last week, but come on, 11K? That's ridiculous. Like, just because he had one phenomenal week does not justify an 11K price tag. And I know we got a couple members that love Sung Bae that are going to just give us shit for dogging on him, but there's no way, absolutely no way that I can pay 11K for Sung Jae Im. So he is a full fade from me. I'm not paying almost 11K for Tommy Fleetwood. Like, come on, man. This guy's done nothing. Like, he finally looked decent last week. But look, if you're watching that, like, he ran so good last week. Like, I don't even think he played very good. I'm off Fleetwood. If Fleetwood was like 8K range, like our boy Rosie is, I would have a lot of interest in him. I think Rose has played a lot better than Fleetwood has. Like Rose should, Fleetwood is a misprice in my opinion. Hatton, honestly, he's been playing some good golf. That's where for me it became difficult because I think we have a lot of plays in the 8K range and upper 7K or 7K range that are really good this week. And so for me, I almost have to X out Hatton, and I'm struggling with Henley because I don't know if I can play two of these studs and then mix and match in the 7 and 8K range. So for me, I'm honestly thinking right now, lock button Webb. I'm going to play around with roster construction to see if I can fit Henley. Henley would be my number 2. His ball, I'm looking at ball striking. I'm looking at approach. I'm looking at proximity, good drives, and then birdie makers this week. And Henley ranks in the top 5 out of 4 out of 5 of those categories that I talked about. Factor in his elite course history here. He's an obvious top play. I just looked at the playbook. It's not posted yet, but it's going to be posted tonight. And Hoop has him as a cash play, as a top cash option. But I also know Hoop is on Webb, so I'm going to be really interested to pick Hoop's brain later this week to see if he's playing Webb Henley. And if he is, I want to know what punt that he's using to make it work. And we'll figure that out. I'll make sure to bug Hoop about that. But for me, it's Webb and Henley. I think for Uncle T about the same. And then, Rubio, Webb, and Hatton.
Yeah, and AP, real quick, I while you were talking there, I tried to insert Simpson and Henley. It only leaves us 71.75 per player for the last 4, so it's going to be real hard to do that. But I was tinkering with it as well. Just don't think I'm going to be able to make it work.
I got one guy. Remind me of that. I got one guy for anyone listening that I actually am very he's a true pump play. I'm very confident he'll make the cut this week, just because he makes the cuts at these random events. So Uncle T, I'm going to leave that to you. Make sure you remind me when we get to the punt range to bring that pump play up.
I might know who it is, but I won't.
Who's your guess? Thunder. Who's your guess?
No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the people. I'm gonna let the people wait until the end of the show.
I think we should guess, Uncle T. We should.
No, I'm gonna wait. We gotta let the people wait.
When we get down to that range, we'll
wait.
We'll guess. Let's go to the 9K range, Uncle T. Let's kick it back to you. What do you think about this range?
Yeah, and one of the reasons I was trying to fit Simpson and Henley in my initial builds is because I don't care a whole lot for this 9K range. At the top, you got, again, it just feels like, even though clearly it's not a full field, but we did talk about it's a little stronger than we thought. I just feel like some of these guys, even though I like to play them at the, like Matt Fitzpatrick, $9,900 on DK. I just can't see paying almost 10K for Matt Fitzpatrick, even in this type of field. If he was 88, 87, 8,600, I'd have some interest. So going to fade really the top guys, to be honest with you guys. English, Day, Oosthuizen, I was on at the Masters last week, and I've been on him a lot lately. But again, you get that inflated $9,300 price tag, and it might just be a mental block for me, but I just can't do it. Lowry, I'm never really on. Neiman coming off of COVID. The only guy I really like a lot, guys, in this range is Sebastian Munoz. And I talked to you guys pre-show off the air that, when I did my initial thought yesterday and today, kind of getting ready for the show, I was trying to figure out a way to fade Munoz. And when I looked at his numbers and his course history, finished third last year, and what he's done the last 6-8 weeks, I just can't do it, guys. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be way over the field on him. I can't lock button him, I don't think, but I'm going to be way over the field on Sebastian Munoz until he proves different. I'm going to ride the hot hand, and he's been playing good in all facets of his game. So, even though I only like one play in that range, guys, it is Sebastian Munoz. If I had to pick a second guy, I mean, I don't even know who it would be. I'm only going to give you one because I don't want to throw out a name that I don't like.
I like that. Hey, that's fair. Yeah, exactly. And I kind of agree with you on a lot of those plays. Maybe Rubio can help convince us. Rubio, where are you at on this range? I mean, are you playing Jason Day? Talk to me about it.
Jason Day is forever on my shit list. I can never get him right. And I think it'll stay that way for the rest of eternity. If this man was 7.5K at this event, I think I'd still find a way to fade. This is a course that really fits Fitzpatrick, no pun intended, but he's right. Uncle T's right. 9,900 when you can get Hatton or Webb, just a little bit above him, or even Henley in his regard. It's really hard to think that Fitzpatrick is a guy who can truly take that top 5, price tag and, really assert himself and pay off. Like, I'd rather almost Harris English, who has shown earlier in the season and, is arguably in similar form as well. But I just think the top tier is so much better. I don't mind the COVID with Neiman. I still think that he's in good form and a great ball striker, and really just comes down to putting at this event for him. He's played at this course a couple years ago, and so that's a little bit healthy as well. So if you really want to go down there, I love the Seb Munoz call because, it's third place last time he played here, and the form as well, just sizzling. I didn't play him last week, but definitely want a piece of him this week.
Yeah, I think that's fair, guys. And, when I look at this range, Matt Fitzpatrick, normally would pop for me, but again, 9.9K, that's kind of like Sung J M. I can't pay 11K for Sung J M. I could pay 8,600 for Matt Fitzpatrick in this field. I can't pay 10K for him because that literally limits what I can do. Harris English is a little bit more interesting. He has better form. He also has a little bit of course history here, but still his course history, okay, so he's playing phenomenal golf right now. He's playing better than how he has been in the past. So when you're looking at course history here, like with Harris English, I think you throw that out a little bit, but still he's been volatile here. So for me, it's like, I might just lock in Webb and then keep going down the list and then go balance from there. And I think that might be like the winning route this week. But honestly, we have Harris English. I'm looking at the playbook right now. It's not out yet. It's going to be out soon. We got him up there. Our model likes him. A score of 58, and our top score is 78, which is Webb. So, like, honestly, we got to like Harris English a little bit. But for me, it comes down to simple roster construction. I don't know if I can make him work. Jason Day, I'm just, man, this dude, he might burn me, but man, I don't know. Like, one week he looks phenomenal. The next week he looks terrible. The next week he withdraws. So it's like, I'm not playing him this week. I'm glad he's priced up. If he was like 8,800 or if he was 8,400, like my boy Justin Rose is, it would be a very difficult decision. That's why when we get to that range, I'm going to spend 15 minutes talking about why I'm locking my boy in this week. Let's keep going down the list. Louis Oosthuizen, and I'm fading him. I just, man, he like never really shows up at these type of events, and it is what it is. Shane Lowry looked terrible round one. I got to give Coop credit. Okay. Me and Coop, we battle. I love Coop. He's the man. We got a great, I've been like chatting with him about DFS stuff for 3 years now. We will battle it out. And it's funny when we go at it in Discord, but I got to give him credit. I was making fun of him for the Shane Lowry pick, and he looked strong in rounds 2, 3, and 4 at the Masters. So his ball striking was good and his game looked good. It's a reason to maybe play him this week. I don't think I'm going to play him. I'm not a Shane Lowry guy. Honestly, his form is decent coming in. Maybe I'll end up talking myself onto playing him. But I would rather play the guy you guys talked about, Sebastian Munoz. This dude is, I love cheering for him in Discord. When we're in Discord and Sebastian Munoz is just on that other level, it's just fun to cheer for this guy. He's playing lights out. He arguably should be priced higher than a lot of these guys. And he finished third here last year. Now, he missed the cut in 2019 and 2017, but his game was nowhere near where it's at today. So I can fully discount those missed cuts. I don't think he's going to miss a cut this week. I think he's going to carry a lot of momentum in. Now, he struggled in round 4 at the Masters. Still, I view Munoz as a guy that's just going to ride this wave he's on, and he's going to bring that momentum in. And I see him having a good week here. Like, when you look at this course, sure, there's water in some areas. There's, we could have some wind pickup. There's little things out there that could lead to some big scores. But man, this guy's been phenomenal off the tee. He's been, he ranks 5th in birdies made over the last 36 rounds relative to the entire field. I mean, this guy knows how to score. So I definitely like Munoz. And if I'm locking in Webb, the next guy I would probably play is Munoz with him if I have enough salary. Otherwise, I might keep going down the list. But so for me, if I were to rank this tier, it's Munoz and then maybe Neiman. As long as Neiman, wasn't like too sick or anything like that. I mean, if he had no symptoms, then yeah, Neiman's a ball striker. I love him at a course like this. Uncle T, you're just Munoz, right?
Yeah, just Munoz for me. And I did want to piggyback off what you just said a moment ago, AP, just while we're kind of on the topic. You mentioned Lowry and how well he did play over the weekend. And I actually had him in my Showdown cores on Saturday when he shot a 68. So just another thing, guys, to keep in mind as you're listening to us here about the, the plays for the week and for the, the 4-day slate. Keep in mind, we have the Showdown slate as well. So if you have your Thursday not go as well for you and into Friday and your teams are looking kind of shitty, hey, we always have a good, Snyder, AP, I know Mangone sometimes. We've got Coop goes in there. We have a great, Showdown content set up each night to where, again, you can get in there and win just as much money. I think 10K or 20K usually each night up front. So just something to keep in mind.
Uncle T, my boy. So this guy, he is my guy, Clint. He does my homeowner's insurance. He does all that. He won 20K. He had a sweat off of $50. He has a sweat for 50K, and we're chatting the next morning. And he's like, he's literally sending me a text, and he's like, I'm doing decent in the tournament. And I was like, what's your lineup? And then he sends me it, and he's, sweating 50K. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, did not realize that he had that big of a sweat going on, but he ended up, it was a showdown slate, the $10 one, and he got 5 or 6 lineups in it, and he got second place for $20K. And, so it just goes to, it's, if you consistently just play, 4, 5, 6 builds, you don't have to spend a ton of money. The opportunity eventually is going to be there. Stick to your process, though. That's what it is, and have good bankroll management. That's kind of the name of the game. So, again, I love that. I love the showdown. Snyder kills it. We provide our core plays as well. And sometimes I get in there and help Snyder, but I do got to give him most of the credit. He's the one grinding a lot of the showdown content for sure. Again, show's free tonight, guys. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We love to see those things grow. And if you haven't checked us out, come check us out. $20 for a week. I'm sure if you ask around, you could find a discount code somewhere. Maybe type in Showdown. That's one that we always have. If you watch the Sunday show the Morning Wood, those guys will always talk about that code. So that'll get you 25% off. Let's dive into this next round. This next range. Let's start with Uncle T. Talk to me about the 8K range, man. Where you at?
Yeah, before we get into that, guys, if you're listening on the show and in chat, just start loading up a couple questions. Maybe we'll break here in a little bit and answer a couple questions for you. But for me in this 8K range, and you guys could probably figure out by me not liking the range above that we just finished, I do like some guys in this range. Corey Connors right at the top, $8,900, been playing really well. 3 straight top 25s. Obviously, a 10th place finish at Augusta last weekend where he played really well. Made 2 good made cuts in this event previously. Not sure what to do with Fratelli. He gets the big price bump. Obviously, this week was, he was just terrific last week. T5. Don't know what to do with him. He could fall into that category for me, guys, where playing well, he's not a bad play, but for the price, I feel like I could get some guys a little bit lower that would have, just as much, upside, if you will, at lesser price. So I'm going to pass on Fratelli. I'm going to pass on Kokrak. He missed the cut last week. I was a total fade on Kokrak last week at the Masters, coming off of that, coming off a couple good, 17th place finish and a win previously. The guys I will take is right through the middle here. And I think you guys like similar guys, but Kevin Kisner, I know I may be one of the few guys on RPS that likes him a lot, but he missed the cut last week and he's been playing pretty good, but you want to talk about a boom or bust guy at this tournament. In his last 5 trips here, he's got 3 top 7 finishes and 2 missed cuts. So if you're looking for a good GPP play, Kevin Kisner at $8,600, again, in this field is very fair in my opinion. But my favorite guy in the range is right above the guy you like, AP. I like Brian Harman. 11 straight cuts on tour. Just a solid golfer, having actually, I think, a career year. And I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not going to have him in my picks later on, but I wouldn't be shocked if he got in there on Sunday. It was in the hunt. So I do like Brian Harman quite a bit. I don't mind the Justin Roscoe's. I'll let you talk about him. But the only other guy I kind of like in this range, if you go down to Mackenzie Hughes, I kind of like Mackenzie Hughes. Didn't play last week at the Masters, but he's got 2 top 10 finishes his last 4 trips out, and pretty good course history here. He won it back in 16. So, for me, Connors, Kisner, Harman, I don't mind Rose, and then Mackenzie Hughes. So I don't want to take all the guys from Rubio. I'll let him talk about a couple of the other guys.
Yeah, I like a lot of those guys. And yeah, with Kisner, I mean, he's got some ties to the area. He knows this course really well. Former winner as well. So add that to the course history there. I agree with you on Kisner this week, Uncle T. Rubio, talk to me about the 8K range, man.
Kind of with Uncle T for the most part as well. I do like the Kisner call, especially with that little bit of course history. And, he's coming in with decent form, as a few top 25 under his belt. And like even in August, he did pretty well. So I definitely like that. I think this is a course fit that is kind to him, and especially Harman as well, where you don't need to be long off the tee. And I really enjoy the 8,500 look for Harman, but it seems like we're saying that every week. Every week he does well, but he doesn't do great. I'm just like banking on the week that he gets a top 10 and you can get him at that 8,500 tag. I think this is a good week for it, especially if you're going Webb at the top and you need a couple mid-tier guys. I think if there was a time to get Brian Harman, probably no, he's not even like overly owned because people don't seem to expect upside from him. I think this is a good week for it. The Mackenzie Hughes, the course history where he has the win here, and as well coming in with a good form as well. Having a couple top 10s in his last 4 appearances. A guy I actually really like is Ian Poulter, 4 straight top 25s in his events. He's also a damn good putter of late, which is actually surprising from Ian Poulter. And so, if he just continues that form, I think 8,300 is a very good tag for the Englishman. I would love to run an all Englishman lineup right now, where you can start with like even a Fitzpatrick, Hatton, and Poulter, and really just go Harris English just for the fun of it. But I actually really like him there. You have Charles Howell, course history there as well, former winner here. He's my least favorite of the guys I mentioned, but he's someone to look at. And one of my favorites is the 8K, Doc Redman. I think Doc Redman's a much better golfer than anyone in the 7K range below him, and I think he's even a better golfer than some of the guys above him. And he does have in weak fields, he's done really well. This is a little bit stronger field, but I really think this is an event that he should be able to do well at. 8K kind of ticks every box that I'm looking for, and I really think that's a great price tag on him.
So are you going to finish off that build with Danny Willett and Matt Wallace? That'd be an interesting way to go.
Oh, we haven't gotten to my Matt Wallace love. My Matt Wallace
There's your
love.
Englishman.
It's off the charts. I love Matt Wallace every event. He's a damn good golfer.
So, all right, guys. Here's my thing. Justin Rose is 8,400, okay? Let's just imagine that Tommy Fleetwood was 8,400. How many wins on the PGA Tour does Tommy Fleetwood have? He's got 0, okay? Look at his recent form. He's done nothing. The guy sucks, but he's 10,700. Rose, I honestly think Rose he's starting to find something in his game. This is a guy, former #1 golfer in the world not too long ago. I mean, this is a guy, he's got a gold medal, okay? He's won a gold medal. He's a major champion. He's won, now I got to pull it up, but he's won, he has 24 professional wins. 10 of those come on the PGA Tour. Now, here's the other thing is this is a birdie fest this week, okay? So we need guys that can go low. Most of his wins come at birdie fest events. The Farmers, he won 21 under. Fort Worth Invitational, he won at 20 under. The Zurich Classic, 22 under. The Memorial Tournament, he won 18 under par. If you go to across the pond, Turkish Airlines, he's won that twice, 18 under, 17 under. Hong Kong Open, 17 under. So this is a guy that knows how to go low. And it may not be this week, but it's coming soon. I've seen he honestly could have cut out maybe 3 or 4, he made 3 or 4 really dumb errors. I feel like his round could have been easily 3 or 4 strokes better if he just cut out a few mental errors. And then we're talking about a Justin Rose that's potentially priced higher. I think DraftKings released his pricing well after the Masters was finished, so they knew where everyone was at. And but Rose still finished T23. Now go to the Zozo Championship. He shot a 67, 67, and then 73, 67. The 73 might be wrong, but this is a guy that's 1 round away from getting another win. I think it could come here. And here's the other thing is the young golfers now that are coming up, they're so talented. These guys are a little older. Justin Rose is 40 years old. He's not dusty yet. 40 years isn't old. We're not picking on Uncle T yet. I know Rose is going to get more wins on tour. He's too good not to. The price is egregious relative to the field, in my opinion. Sure, you could look, if we go back a little bit further, he missed a cut at the U.S. Open, and he's been a little bit up and down. But just look at the last few events. There's something about his game that's, in my opinion, really clicking. I think it's his tee to green game. I think he's been much more solid off the tee. That was his original struggle post-COVID, right away. Post-COVID, this dude was missing fairways. He usually doesn't miss fairways. Now he's hitting fairways. And now his iron game is starting to get a little bit better. The approach game's looking a little bit better. And his putting has actually been much better than historically where he's been at. Historically, he's always been one of the best iron players on tour. He's always been one of the best tee to green. He's always been one of the best on approach. And putting has been the struggle. Putting has not been his struggle of recently. So I think what happens this week is he puts it all together. And I got a bunch of bets on him. I got top 30. I got a top 10 bet, and I'll put a little something on him to win.
You know why he's playing better right now, don't you, AP?
I mean,
he got rid of them shitty irons he was using.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea why he did that. It literally cost him 2 years of his career, in my opinion. I think he had them for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. But why do some of these guys? Why do they do that? They're playing well. They're top 10, top 15. They just have to start tinkering with stuff. But I thought that was a horrible move to, what was it, Hanma? I guess it was the name of the irons.
It was. It was not good.
Yeah.
He's a flag plan for me. I will literally, if you see me in contest, Rose will be in all my lineups. I'm a stock guy. I say it every week. It's a buy low. He's 8,400. I think it's an egregious price tag relative to the field. It's a different field than last week. And so when I look at this field, I just think it's a complete misprice. I love the Ian Poulter call too. Ian Poulter's played way better than Tommy Fleetwood too. So I think people just saw what Tommy Fleetwood, and how he finished and looked okay at the Masters. I have no idea where that price tag is coming from, because I don't think he's deserving of it at all. And so I'd play if we could remove prices, I would still play Poulter and Rose over Fleetwood this week. I know that could be a donkey take, but it is what it is. I think those guys are playing better than him right now. And, better in the U.S. I mean, Fleetwood has some good results over the pond. I agree with you guys on Kisner. I think Kisner is a phenomenal play. Brian Harman, okay, like if you have 5 guys built in your lineup and you need that one last guy who you want to make the cut, Brian Harman's that guy. He's been phenomenal. He's been a phenomenal cut maker over the last a ton of events. So you gotta play Brian Harman. I think he's a phenomenal play. And then I agree with you guys. Corey Connors, we were on him last week. This dude, all right. So like Corey Connors, he is one of the best ball strikers here in the field. His biggest issue is always going to be putting. It's starting to get a little bit better, but if you look at his recent results and the amount of cuts that he's making, and his good performances, T10 at the Masters, T24 at the Houston Open, T8 at the Zozo, T17 at Sanderson Farms, he isn't even putt good. Like, he has not been good putting at all. And so what that means is his ball striking is just phenomenal. And so I love Connors. And so this is what I'm talking about, guys, when I talk about Webb. And then if I could just load up on as many of these guys in this range that we talked about, that's the route I want to go this week. I want to fade all those other guys. I don't Shane Lowry. No, I'm not playing him. I'm not playing Louis Oosthuizen or Jason Day or any of those guys. Give me all these guys in this 8K range. Doc Redman, even, man. Doc Redman's a phenomenal play. I would play Doc Redman over any of those other guys we talked about if salary wasn't an issue at all. And so for me, if I had to rank this range, I gotta say Rose 1, and then I gotta say Connors. It's close between Connors and Poulter. I'll go Connors 2. Did we get your 1 and 2, Uncle T?
No, not yet. Again, I've got a bunch in this range, so it's hard for me to limit it. But for me, it would probably be Kisner 1 and Harman 2. But again, love the Rose call and love the Connors call and Mac Hughes. But if I just had to get 2, Kisner and Harman would be 1 and 2 for me.
What about you, Rubio?
You sold me on Rose quite a bit, especially for that all-English lineup. I found one that works. But for me, it's Redmond 1, Poulter 2.
Gotcha. Have you ever seen – I was just thinking, like, I always think about when I build a lineup, I always take a moment. I'm like, okay, can I visualize a leaderboard, and does this lineup make sense relative to the leaderboard? Have we ever seen a leaderboard that was just all English flags?
Yeah, the Ryder Cup.
The Ryder Cup. Yeah, there you go. Nice call. All right, guys, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and come check us out. $20 for a week. You can make it cheaper, take 25% off, use the code Showdown. I know that's one of our codes that's still going on. But again, let's move down to the 7K range. And it's going to be hard to top because, you know, the 8K range was pretty tasty. But Uncle T, talk to me about the 7K range. What are you doing here?
Yeah, and why don't we start, since there's so many guys from 7 to 8K, do you want to go just
Good
7,500 and
call.
up?
Yeah, we'll do that. Good call.
Yeah. So for me, if you start towards the top, Taylor Gooch didn't play at the Masters last week, but a guy I like to play. He can make a lot of birdies, and on this course, you're going to need a lot of birdies. He had 2 top 5 finishes in his last 3 outings. 23rd finish last year here. I don't mind Taylor Gooch. Here comes the interesting one, and I've said it with a couple guys above, but CT Pan. You know, he finished his 7th at the Masters, and, you know, I'm sure he came in at probably 2% ownership, you know, and he's used to being in that 65, 66, 6,700 range. Now he gets the big jump to 7,900. I can't play CT Pan at 7,900. So I'm going to be out on him, even though he played well last week. Lee Westwood's an interesting one. He's a guy I typically like to play. I had a little bit of him last week. I think he started off with a 66 or 67 on Thursday and then slowly faded on the weekend. Brendan Todd, I'm out on him. My favorite player, Sam Burns, by the way, guys, if you don't know in chat, Sam Burns and Brian Gay have withdrawn. So definitely get those guys out of your lineup. We'll get to Brian Gay here in a little bit. Sam Burns withdrew with an injury. So the guy I like the most in this range, guys, Denny McCarthy. It's a guy that RPS guys like. There's not much not to like. He's a good putter. He's been playing well, 2 top 10s in his last 4, T8 last year here. Again, I'm just going to keep riding some of these guys out until they show that they don't have any form. I'm just going to keep playing them. He's a pretty good cut maker. And again, he can get hot and make birdies in a hurry. So I like Denny McCarthy. Sepp Straka, I don't mind either. Again, it depends on what my builds are. Again, I like some guys up top. Don't like the 9K range. I like a little of the 8K range. So this high 7K range, I might not be finding myself with a whole lot of these guys. So I do like McCarthy. And then as you go down, I really don't like anyone until you get down to possibly Austin Cook. It could be a flyer. I mean, he had a 2nd place finish a couple weeks ago. He's won this event before, but I don't know. For me, guys, in that top range, I like Taylor Gooch and McCarthy, and I'll let Rubio get in.
Yeah, I think Denny's a phenomenal play. Rubio, talk to us about this range.
All right. So on our player data table here at RPS, there's a guy who really stands out in this range, and his name is Sepp Straka. He's actually been, in fairly damn good form and just got a 5th at the Houston Open, which was the week before the Masters, and kind of rode in some good form where he made, like 5 out of 6 cuts as well. I think this is an event that's like kind of turning in the right tide, and, the form, really clicking, and kind of the stats, somewhere where you're looking at as well, where he's just above average in almost every category. So I'm actually a really big fan of the Austrian there. I think I don't know why, but I'm just gravitated more towards the Europeans. This includes Matt Wallace. I think Matt Wallace is just a phenomenal golfer. Played well last month where he got a 2nd in the Scottish Championship. And really, he's just kind of been a cut maker for the most part this past, couple months. And I think, for 7,600 in this field, where it's not the strongest field in the world, I think that's actually pretty good value. And Andy Sullivan there at 7,500. I've always thought high of Andy Sullivan, and it seems like I always play Andy Sullivan when he's on the slate. And in a fairly tough field, the BMW PGA Championship, he gets 3rd, and that was just a couple events ago. The form at the U.S. Open was a little bit shaky, but you see everything else. I think Sullivan's just better than the 7,500 price tag, if that makes sense. He's not the longest hitter in the world, and actually, this is a course that sets up well for him. And really, I think it just comes down to the putter for him. Whenever I see courses that really don't require a ton of length, I always tend to think Ches Reavie, and I don't even need to know the price. But now I see it at 7,500. Really, it just comes down to putting. He's been putting absolutely awful of late. And there's a couple guys down here where you got to, if you want to buy low, maybe get a top 10 finish, you have to kind of look at their putting. And if Ches Reavie puts well, I don't see any reason where he couldn't put up a top 10 finish. Everything else is fine. It just comes down to that. If you're really trying to look from a tournament perspective, I just wanted to see him putt well. The old man, Lee Westwood, grinded out a really hot start to the Masters and really fizzled out, but grinded out a 38th. I just think he's an above average play as well. Another Englishman to add to my lineup.
There you go. I absolutely love the Ches Reavie call. I'm on him too. Here's the thing, like this is a Ches Reavie course where there's going to be a lot of holes where these guys have to club down off the tee. When we get those holes where driver isn't a big advantage, that's when Chez Reavie, he's not a big guy. I think he's like 5'6". He's a little guy. But he's a good golfer, phenomenal iron player, ranks second overall in this field on approach over his last 36 rounds. He ranks sixth in hitting fairways, good drives, combination of accuracy and distance, but more leaning towards accuracy this week. And his ball striking is good. It's his putting that hasn't been good. This is a PGA Tour winner. I think his form from a ball striking standpoint is fine. Putting is a volatile stat, okay? That he can turn that around. It doesn't take a lot to turn it around for a couple rounds. And so I love Chez. I think 7,500 is a phenomenal price tag. I'm definitely in on him. I think he's going to be lower owned than Austin Cook. I do like Austin Cook, former winner here. His form is really good. He's putting better right now. But if you're looking for leverage off of Cook, Chez Reavie, I think, is a phenomenal play. He feels like an anti-workbench play just because it's Chez Reavie. When you see him out there, 5'6", just plodding around, kind of like a JSU out there. But we all know JSU is a monster, okay? Don't let size fool you. This dude, I would – I'm probably twice the size, and I bet he would kick my ass. So I would, it is what it is. You can't put everything on size. But I think Chez is a phenomenal play this week. The other guy I like that you both mentioned, Denny McCarthy. So what I like about him, if you listen to interviews, that's one thing I do. I try to listen to as many golfer interviews as I can. I also try to watch them, but I feel like you almost pick up more in these interviews. I want to know where a golfer's at. I want to know if they're confident or not. I want to know how they feel about their game. And Denny McCarthy is just any interview you get. I mean, he just seems excited, seems motivated, loves where his game's at right now. I know he's going to be an RPS play. I think we got him ranked 1 or 2 in the cheap tier this week. And he's a phenomenal putter. Finished T38, T4, T57, T6, T41, and he finished eighth place here last year. And so, I mean, he's another guy that I honestly think, like, if he's approaching this event, I think that he's coming in thinking he can contend here. When he's looking at this field, when he's looking at how he's been playing, it's a guy that's coming in that expects to make a top 10 here. That is the type of guy I want to play. I love pairing him with Rose. I love pairing that again with Webb Simpson. I think that's a phenomenal way to start your build. And then, Sammy Burns, I was very high on him. He is out this week. I'm off Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd is very weird. I will never understand him. He goes into this like God mode, like he'll have a month span where this dude is winning, getting top fives, can't mess up anything. And then he goes the complete other direction. I think that's where he's at right now. I think he's an easy fade. I was on Lee Westwood last week. I'm off him this week. We need birdies this week. Lee Westwood he's the grinded out type of golfer. I don't know if he can make enough birdies to contend here. You got to figure that we might see a cut line of like maybe -3, -2, something like that. And then it's you gotta make birdies from there on. I think maybe a winning score of -20 again. I really do think it's going to be kind of a week like that. And I don't know if Lee Westwood can hang, so I'm off of him. And CT Pan is kind of interesting. But honestly, it's the more I think about it, he could do good here. His form is looking good, but it seems more of like a recency bias play. I don't know if I'll get there. I think I'd rather just go with Denny McCarthy or Chez or Austin Cook. So I'm going to say, for me, 1, Denny McCarthy, and 2, Chez Reavie. Uncle T, did we get your 1 and 2?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be McCarthy 1, and I'm going to go Taylor Gooch 2. He didn't play last week. I just feel like before, not qualifying or what have you for the Masters, I just feel like he was playing some really good golf, and I think he'll, coming off a week off, even though he didn't play, I think he may pick right back up. And real quick, AP, if I can, you were talking about in general, you're cutting up about JSU's size. And want to piggyback into that. We have a new Inside the DFS Studio series that Holden has been doing. He had Big T on there for an interview, and I caught the first half of the JSU interview today. And I know his size came up, if you will. And again, I won't give it away. I'm not sure if that's a free thing, AP, if you know if it is or not for the people.
Yeah,
but
I think it's free on YouTube. Yep.
It's a great series, guys. It really is. Big T had a really nice interview. Holden does a great job. I think he's going to go around to all of the DFS guys with RPS. It's nice, the fun thing. Yeah, it's
with what I heard they were talking about.
I hope I go last. Yeah, I hope I go last because it'll be bad. But just wanted to plug that in there because if a lot of times, guys, you guys are listening at work or listening to the podcast, it's a great listen to go back and hear some of them interviews. So I wanted to mention that before we go on.
Yeah, Big T has some good one-liners. That's for sure.
I'm just glad I didn't come up a whole lot in that every interview because I was worried that I was going to come up a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Rubio, where are you at? What's your 1 and 2 in this range?
I think I'm going to trust the RPS data table and go Sepp Straka at number 1. And I think for number 2, Andy Sullivan.
Yeah, and Sepp, I didn't mention him, but I do like him. He has 2 missed cuts here. But here's the thing. You see guys miss the cut here all the time and then perform really well. And he brings in really incredible form. I think I think he golfed in Georgia, if my memory serves me right. Born across the pond, but maybe golfed in Georgia. So, I mean, he kind of knows that area. I know it's not right in the area, but maybe he has some decent experience out there. And so, yeah, I love that call. Uncle T, take us down into the lower 7K range. Talk to me about this range.
Yeah, I like a few of these guys as we start towards the top of the 7,500 and work our way down. Harold Varner's the first guy I'm going to take a look at. 15th place finish last time out. Pretty good form. He's had actually since the restart, he's been pretty solid, pretty good cut maker. Probably doesn't have a ton of win equity. Again, when we get into these guys here, fellas, with 75 on down, again, they're not going to have a ton of win equity. That's why they're down there. But Harold Varner, I like Aaron Wise quite a bit. 11th place finish last time out. 13th place finish here a couple years back. But he's usually a boomer bust guy, someone that's a good GPP play. As you go down, one of my favorite guys is JT Poston, and this one probably won't be very popular, and I don't mind that nobody may be on him. I got him at around 4 or 5% ownership right now, coming off of a miscut, but again, has had a pretty good restart since the break. He can get hot and make a lot of birdies in a row. His putter can get hot. I don't mind going back to JT Poston at low ownership. He played very poorly last week. So again, sometimes I like to hop on these guys when everybody kind of goes one way. I like to try to go the other way, and especially at low ownership, I don't mind JT Poston. One of my favorite guys is Cameron Tringali down there, 7,200, 20th place finish here last year. Again, just a guy that's usually a good solid cut maker. And again, down here, guys, when you're getting down into this range to round out your teams or however you do your roster construction, you're looking at guys that can clearly make the cut. If these guys down here don't have a whole lot of top 5, top 10 equity, so if you're looking for a cut maker, does a pretty good job. Cameron Tringali, Russell Knox, he's an interesting one. He went through a stretch where I think Bridge in July, August, September, he might have missed like 8 or 9 cuts in a row. And since then, though, he's got a couple top 20 finishes. He finished 20th here last year. Maybe he's turning the corner and starting to play a little bit better. Again, 7,200, not a bad price tag. And then I go quite a bit down after that, guys, all the way down. If you need a guy, again, an experienced player on tour, he's very up and down, very inconsistent. But Keegan Bradley down there at 7K, not played here before, no course history. I just think he could get you a top 10 or top 15. He's that, he's streaky. So I don't mind him down there. And again, I'll kind of leave it off that. I like a couple other guys, but I want to let you guys get in there with a few.
Yeah, I like those calls. Rubio, lower 7K range.
I think I got to start off with a couple guys here at 7,400. Both of them a little bit rocky with the putter of late, but every other category is good. And it's about this buy low when we're down here. And it's similar to that Ches Reavie. And I think Joel Dahman is another guy who fits that list. Not a long hitter, he's shown top 10 upside this past year. And this is a course where I think it fits him for the most part as well. You look at his course history. Was he the one who had any course history? Yeah, a couple missed cuts, but it's one of those things where I think I'm going to trust the eye test over the results in the past. And I think this is something where he can get a top 20. Harold Varner's putting has been absolutely awful, but every other category is showing that, he's prime for, if one good week of putting, there's a guy down there at 7,400 as top 10 equity. So it's another guy there I'm looking at. It's really hard to love this range. I kind of like the 8K and upper 7K range a little bit more, but Henrik Norlander does have a couple of top 5 finishes in the past 4 years here and has also made the cut. The problem with him is he's kind of cooled off. I remember earlier in the season, I felt like Norlander was an option every week, but now in the past few weeks, it's been, a little bit rusty, I should say. I wouldn't say rusty, just a little bit terrible, to be honest. But 7,100 for a guy with good course history and good stats across the board over the course of the season, but maybe not in the last 12 rounds or so. I'll definitely take a chance on the Swede.
Yeah, I like that, guys. And again, if you haven't yet, click that like button, click the subscribe button, helps us out a ton. And here's the thing. If you're a member, the PGA Playbook, I got it up right now. Snyder's just – we're putting in some last stuff. It's going to go up here soon. Core plays will be up tomorrow. Tiers will be up tomorrow. Some will be up tonight. I haven't looked at that yet. I love the tiers product. I think you can, while you're making your builds, I think you can just have tiers up. And that's going to give you a phenomenal way. It's such a good approach to use. You're going to have every guy's favorite play in a certain range, and they can only pick 2. So that's a phenomenal thing that I love from a content perspective that we have. If I'm diving into this range, I have another guy I could go on a rant about that I'm almost too confident in this play. It makes me a little nervous, but Russell Knox, okay? Another guy that I just think fits the mold here, phenomenal ball striker. And, post-COVID, he had his struggles. I think he's over that. He's got a T15, T16, missed a couple cuts, and a T9. And he's been putting really bad. Historically, he's been an okay putter. Not putting has never been his main thing. He's just been such a phenomenal iron player. And I think iron play is going to be very important here. It usually is at par 70 courses, which we're going to hit the par 70 course 3 times. And I just think with Russell Knox too, he has phenomenal course history. He's over the last 5 years. He's played this 5 years, he's played 5 times, and he's missed the cut here once in 2015. So he's got good course experience. He was a T20 last year. I like where his game's at, and he's another play kind of like Justin Rose, where he could honestly be 7,600, 7,700, and I would have some interest. I just think I want to bet on him while his game is just getting better. And I'm seeing a lot of positive signs there. I think at 7,200, he realistically gives us top 20 upside, maybe top 10 upside, maybe top 15. But I feel very confident in him not only making the cut, but finishing inside the top 20 this week. So I'm going to have a bunch of Russell Knox. Cam Davis is a guy I'm always interested in. He's been, I know if Pinsak's in check, he's just going to make fun of Scam Davis, but he has his ups and downs for sure. But this dude has been a good cut maker. He has upside. He knows how to make birdies. And I'm hoping he can avoid the trouble here. And I know Hoop loves this guy too. So I know Hoop's going to, if I look over here, yeah, he's tagged as a cash play. The only concern I would have in that range, the 7,200 range, his win odds aren't great, 125 to 1, where Russell Knox is 100 to 1. So if I'm between the two, I'm going to look at different things like that. I'm going to look at a few matchups. I'm going to look at win odds, and I'm going to look at a bunch of different factors to help me make my decision between the two. I lean Russell Knox, but Cam Davis is a phenomenal play as well. Emiliano Grillo, this dude is honestly the best ball striker in this field. He just sucks at putting. I honestly think I could be I honestly think I could go out and putt maybe as good as him. He sucks at putting. He's not good, but what's so tilting about him is if you're watching Shot Tracker or if you're even watching him, he's hitting it to 15 feet every time. He just can't make the putt. And, if he hits the 30 feet, he's 3-putting. So that's the big risk with him. I think he's an interesting tournament play. He's projected to be around 5 to 7% owned. And he's a guy like, if the proximity's there, like if you get him on a week where his putter is hot, you're going to win a tournament, okay? Because I think he has winner type upside with how good of a ball striker he is. I just don't know if I'm going to get to him because I have Knox rated over him. I have Davis rated over him. And I also like Cameron Tringali, which you guys talked about as well. I'm going back through here. The other guy I have a ton of interest in is Harold Varner. I think he's underpriced. It's another guy. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about lock in Webb and then go down to this range where I think we have guys like Harold Varner could be in the 8K, in my opinion. I think he's that good. He finished T15 at the Houston Open, which that course was playing tough. You're around the green game, had to be good there. Those greens had a ton of roll off. So when the greens firmed up, balls were rolling off, leaving really difficult chips. Harold Varner played really well. He missed a cut at the Bermuda, which the wind was just brutal. Finished T13 at the Shriners, T29 at the Safeway. I think Harold Varner is a guy that you could go extremely overweight on, and I'd feel comfortable with him. And I don't mind the Aaron Wise call. I'm not sure what I'll do with him. He's playing good, though, and he's a previous PGA Tour winner. But for me in this range, it is for sure Russell Knox and Harold Varner are my 1 and 2s. Uncle T, 1 and 2.
Yeah, Tringali for me, number 1. And number 2, I'm going to go as close, but I'm going to go Aaron Wise. I just think he's got some nice upside, good price tag. Again, it's kind of a boomer bust, but I like him on this course. I want to circle back real quick before we get to Rubio because in the chat, who was it? Nick was asking about Will Gordon. And, Nick, for me, I'm out on Will Gordon, but, he is coming in. He'll come in at low, pretty low ownership, maybe about 5 or 6%. He's 7K. So, you could probably do worse than Will Gordon. I just can't figure it out. He hasn't played very well since June. I don't know if he's got a top 10 since June. So for me, I'm out on him, but those are my 2 guys.
Man, so Snyder's in chat too saying, I didn't know Brandon Crick was playing in this event. He's not viable at all DFS wise, but that'll be interesting to watch him play. Dude's a stick. He's a stick. Again, he just hasn't put it together, though, when you're talking about PGA Tour events. I didn't even think he was close to playing in these type of events. But, man, here's the thing, though. Like, I've seen him play, too. When you see these with these professionals play, it's just another level. The way they strike the ball is just it's incredible to see. Rubio, you're 1 and 2 in this range.
Varner number 1, Dom number 2, and I have 2 predictions for your next pick. Down here in the 6K range.
Hold on. So we're gonna finish this out. We're gonna talk about the 6K range. We're gonna pick our winners. We always pick 2. Price doesn't matter, and then a long shot. First off, my 6K guy that I thought would be what I say guaranteed would make the cut, right?
Yes, I want to guess it.
Okay, who are you guessing?
Brian Stewart.
That is wrong.
Oh,
I got it.
Uncle T.
Vaughn Taylor.
That is wrong.
Oh, thought for sure you had Vaughn Taylor.
Ryan Armour is my guaranteed punt and play to make the cut.
I've got him as one of my guys I wanted to talk about. That's why I overlooked him.
Start talking about him then. Let's go to the 6K range.
Yeah, good lead in.
Ryan Armour.
Yeah, good lead in. But yeah, he's down there at 6,600. But again, a couple miscuts, but an 8th place finish. But great course history here. And again, 6,600 for a guy. I think he's got 4 straight top 35s here. Obviously likes the course. He can make birdies in a hurry. And actually, I've played Ryan Armour a lot on the Showdown slates this year, and he's done pretty well. So I do like the Ryan Armour call. But actually, as we go up, we'll probably encompass this whole range. But at the very top, 6,900, James Hahn. I don't know what you guys think about him, but 50th place finish the last time out, but 3 top 10s prior to that. Did miss the cut here last year, but again, I'm sure he's playing a lot better now than he was when he played here a year ago. So interesting. He's around 6 or 7%, at least what I got him. I like Harry Higgs. One of my better players or better plays here in this range. He's going to come in at way low ownership. Again, can make birdies in a hurry. I keep saying it, but we're looking down here in this range at guys that can make birdies. You mentioned it, AP, with the Justin Rose, obviously in the mid to 8K range. We need guys that can get on a run, even if it's just for one day and they make the cut. At these price tags, it could shoot you up the leaderboard quickly if you get a guy that can shoot 6-7 under on the weekend. And again, at 2% ownership, you're going to see your slider go way up the top of the leaderboard. So I don't mind Harry Higgs, and two guys right below them I'm definitely out on because I just cannot figure out. Brendan Steele and Patrick Rogers are two guys I typically like to play and sprinkle in some lineups in some tournaments, and they just have been just not very good at all. So I'm definitely crossing those guys out. The next guy I want to talk about, though, and get your all's take, Adam Schenk. He disappointed his last time out when he was massive chalk. He was coming off, I think, 10 or 11 straight made cuts, been one of the more consistent players as far as a cut maker, since probably June or even before that. And he had a miscut. I don't mind going back to him. I show him only 5%. Not sure what you guys are showing, but I don't mind Adam Schenk. And then, boy, there's a pretty good gap. Doug Gim down there at 6,700 isn't a bad play. Ryan Harmer. Let me see who else I had. Yeah, I'll let Rubio get in there for a couple, and then I'll give you another complete punt down towards the bottom.
All right, Rubio. Talk to me about the 6K range.
This range is trash. I don't think
I like that call.
I will tell you this. I like the Adam Schenk call. I don't like it when one miscut can throw off people's scent on a player, completely. If he starts to string together some bad performances, then Adam Schenk, he's off my list. But for the most part, he's coming in with good form, except for one bad event, and that could have been just what was it? It was just like a couple bad rounds, right? So I think the previous events speak for themselves, and I definitely would be willing to give him another chance, especially at below 7K. I like the Doug Gim mentioned just because he's a talented player and does have, upside. And we saw a couple top 15s from him the past few events as well. Actually a big Brian Stewart guy. There's not much that can be said when you're a Brian Stewart fan on a PGA slate, but 6,500 for him, where it's kind of a course fit where you don't have to hit it very long. He did show some ability earlier this season as well. Something that, I'll happily take, but yeah, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Probably won't have many guys down here.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I want to, I've been talking about my roster construction plan, throughout this show, and it's going to lead me to really avoiding this range. But if I were to spend up for two of those guys that we talked about, I do think Ryan Armour, he excels at these short courses, and it may have been if you look at his course history, it could be that the fields were so weak, and that's why he did really well. But again, he randomly pops at some of these events, and 6,600, he's a very good ball striker. His putting is up and down. I think he can make his way. In course history is going to matter here because you have a lot of guys. I think 33 guys in this field that have never played here before, at least in this event. So I think course history is going to have some weight. And that's why I feel confident that Ryan Armour is going to make the cut this week. And so if you're going the stud and value route, I would, I think Armour is a fine play. Or go with Chesson Hadley, another good ball striker. Honestly, I think he might be a little mispriced. The other guy I like too is Doug Gim. This is just a bet on talent. I think this kid's talented. He's still feeling through his game. But look at this, 14th at the Safeway, 23rd at Sanderson Farm, 14th at Bermuda. This is a dude, I think he played up in Oregon in college. If my memory serves me correct, he won a ton of collegiate awards in college. This is a guy that I think he's going to be around for quite some time, that we're just starting to learn about. I don't think he's going to be up there with the Colin Morikawas or Matt Wolff that type of field. But I feel like in these weaker type of events, we're going to start to see Doug Gim start to finish up higher in the leaderboard. And I especially like him at shorter par 70 courses. I think that he can really get it done there because he's very good off the tee, as long as, distance isn't really a factor, and he's a good birdie maker too. So outside of those guys, I really want to just limit my exposure to this range. I'm not a huge fan of it. We could see here's the other thing about this event. We could see the winner come from this range too. So if you're in the mean, you could take a shot on Rafa Cabrera. You could take a shot on, Mark Hubbard, maybe not Lucas Glover. His form is just absolutely terrible. But for me, I'm going to keep it simple in this range. Ryan Armour, Doug Gim, I think is fine. Chesson Hadley. I got to just make sure I don't have anyone else starred. If you want a full punt, like when I just think about this course and about who can win here, this is a full punt. But Nate Lashley, he's won.
Why'd you have to go there? That was the guy I was waiting to full punt from a moment ago.
Well, hey, the floor is yours. The floor is yours. That's a good sign then, right?
Ashley was one of my guys. Him or Scott Brown. I had two guys I wanted to mention. Again, we're not going to live in this range at all, but Lashley and Scott Brown were two guys that if you somehow wanted to go and double up top with Henley and Simpson, you're going to need someone down here. And Lashley and Scott Brown, I think, again, are they a great chance to make the cut? Maybe not, but I think they can both get it done. And if they do at that price tag, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Here's the thing. Nate Lashley, he missed the cut last week at the Masters, but here's what I think about that guy. I was just watching the coverage and, I heard a story about how he went up to Tiger and got an autograph from him and a picture from him. I honestly think, if I'm in his shoes and I'm at the Masters, I get a picture with Tiger Woods, get his autograph, all giddy. Nate Lashley's won a tournament, and he won by I think he won by 4 strokes. It was like 21 under. So he can compete in Birdie Fest. I feel like he's not coming off a miscut at the Masters, like all down on himself. I think if anything, he's like, damn, I was at the Masters last week. Let's go dominate this event this week to make sure I'm there again next year. So I think I don't know if I'll play him, but man, if I was playing just because usually in these events I do 3 to 5 builds, he may make one, but we'll see. But I think he's a really interesting long shot bet for sure. So let's get into our winners. Uncle T, do you have your winners ready? Mike, you're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, donkey call. Well, I'm sitting here. I'm trying to respond.
It happens to the best of us.
I'm trying to respond to Hoop and Big T in the chat here, and I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, I could go with the chalk and take Simpson and Henley, who we all clearly like, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go down just a little bit lower, 9K, and I think Sebastian Munoz gets it done, guys, up top. He's going to be my pick to win up top, and then my kind of cheaper guy, Denny McCarthy. I just think. I don't know if it's this week. It may not be, but I just think that he's got the talent, especially in a lesser field, to get the job done. So I'll go with Sebastian Munoz and Denny McCarthy as my 2 picks this week.
Oh, I see what you're talking about in chat. Yeah, I'm waiting on my gear too.
The gear looks solid.
I know. I don't have it.
Got the gear looking good. Got the lids. Yeah.
I'm low on shirts, man. I found this one. I was gonna have to come shirtless.
Big T's out of mediums. You're done. Yeah, he's out of mediums.
Yeah, medium is not gonna fit me. All right, Rubio, who are your winners?
Oh, you're on mute, donkey.
Oh man, no.
I'm picking an Englishman to win. All right. This is none of this Webb Simpson talk. None of this Russell Henley. I can't believe this Russell Henley talk exists. He's 28 to 1. Terrell Hatton's 18 to 1, and Terrell Hatton's going to win this event running away. And what odds can I get on an Englishman to win? I'll go to Indiana and place a small bet on that. But my dark horse, no, it's going to be an Englishman yet again, and his name is Andy Sullivan. I think 7,500. I like that value, and we can get him 80 to 1 or 90 to 1. I see on some sites. So yeah, definitely an Englishman to win.
I like it. I like the Englishman part. So yeah, my born pick is Webb. Webb's just phenomenal. I'm gonna lock him into all my builds. The guy that's winning is man. I feel good about this. I'm gonna lock the play up too. I think you get him at 45 or 50 to 1, but Justin Rose. We're getting him on the upswing. It's going to be him and Webb battling it out come Sunday, and they're going to win us all the money. So yeah, guys, this is a great show tonight. Let's leave it with that. Justin, we'll leave it with that. Justin Rose is going to win. It is what it is.
Sebastian Munoz.
I like that too. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't checked us out, come check us out. $20 a week. And we're going to get you all the winners this week. That's a guarantee because Justin Rose is going to win this week. For me, AP, Uncle T, and Rubio, we are out.